Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond, how you adapt, and most importantly, how you rebuild. Think about it. Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you push, you're just running in circles? You start strong, full of motivation, but somewhere along the way, life knocks you down, and suddenly, you're right back where you started. Maybe you've tried to change before, set goals, made promises to yourself, but somehow, nothing sticks. It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the truth. Rebuilding yourself isn't about fixing who you used to be. It's about creating who you are meant to become. It's about stepping out of the old story that's been holding you back and stepping into the most powerful version of yourself. And that doesn't happen by waiting for the perfect moment, by hoping things will get better, or by letting fear and doubt keep you small. It happens by making a decision right now. What if 2025 wasn't just another year? What if this was the year you stopped playing small, stopped letting the past define you, and finally took full control of your life? Imagine waking up every day with unstoppable energy, purpose, and drive because you're no longer living on autopilot. You're no longer trapped by fear, procrastination, or the opinions of others. You're building something extraordinary, you. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. In this video, I'm going to take you through the most powerful steps to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Not just surface level change, real transformation, the kind that lasts. Because if you're ready to stop settling, if you're ready to take your life to the next level, then it's time to take action. And it all starts right now. Destroy the old blueprint. Most people are living inside a mental cage they built years ago. A cage constructed from past failures, fears, and the opinions of others. The scary part, they don't even realize it. They think this is just who they are. But the truth is, it's just a blueprint, a set of rules, beliefs, and patterns that have shaped their identity. And if you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you must first destroy that old blueprint. Where did your current blueprint come from? Think back. Somewhere along the way, you picked up ideas about what's possible for you. Maybe it was from your parents, your teachers, or even a past experience where you failed and you told yourself, I guess I'm just not good at this. Maybe someone told you that you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or talented enough, and without even realizing it, you believed them. Now, years later, that belief still controls you. Your blueprint dictates your reality. If you believe you're only capable of making a certain amount of money, that belief will shape your decisions, your confidence, and your work ethic. If you believe relationships always end in heartbreak, you'll sabotage yourself before one can truly grow. Your actions will always align with your deepest beliefs, even if those beliefs are wrong. So what do? We destroy the old blueprint. We challenge every belief we've been living by. We ask, is this really true? Or is this just a story I've been telling myself? Because most of the time, that's all it is, a story. And here's the thing about stories, you can change them. Your brain has been wired over time to reinforce your current identity, but just like a muscle, it can be retrained. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that come up when you try to push yourself. When you say, I'm going to start that business, does a voice in your head whisper, but what if you fail? Where does that voice come from? Is it yours? Or did someone else plant that in your mind years ago? Once you recognize these limiting beliefs, it's time to replace them. You don't just remove the old blueprint, you build a new one. And that starts with new, powerful beliefs. If you want to become financially free, you must believe it's possible. If you want to be confident, you must train yourself to think like a confident person. The world isn't going to do this for you. No one is going to hand you a new mindset. You have to build it. And here's the kicker. Your old blueprint isn't going to go quietly. It's comfortable, it's familiar, and it's going to fight to stay alive. But you are stronger. Every time that old voice of doubt creeps in, you replace it with something more powerful. You condition your mind daily, just like an athlete trains their body. And over time, the old blueprint crumbles, replaced by something extraordinary, a belief system that empowers you instead of limiting you. This is how real transformation happens. It's not about setting goals and hoping for the best. It's about rewriting the core of who you believe you are. When you do that, success becomes inevitable. Train your mind relentlessly. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It's your greatest weapon, your ultimate asset. But for most people, their mind is working against them, not for them. They let it run on autopilot, filled with negativity, fear, and self-doubt. And then they wonder, why they're stuck. If you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you must train your mind like an athlete trains their body. That means daily conditioning. It means feeding your brain the right thoughts, the right beliefs, and the right emotions, not once in a while, but every single day. Because whether you realize it or not, you're already conditioning your mind. The question is, are you conditioning it for success or failure? Think about it. If every morning you wake up and immediately check your phone, scrolling through news that makes you anxious, comparing yourself to people on social media, telling yourself, I don't feel like doing anything today, what kind of mindset are you building? You're programming yourself for stress, procrastination, and self-doubt. And if you do that every day, it becomes your default state. But what if you flip the script? What if every morning before the world has a chance to fill your mind with noise, you took control? You started your day by feeding your brain powerful thoughts. You reminded yourself of your goals. You visualized success. You listened to something that made you feel unstoppable. You moved your body. You took deep breaths, and you set your energy for the day. Imagine how different your life would be if you did that every single morning. This isn't some feel-good advice. This is science. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what you repeatedly think and do. The more you feed it positivity, discipline, and focus, the stronger those neural pathways become. The same way a bodybuilder gets stronger by lifting weights, your mind becomes unstoppable through repetition. But let's be clear, this isn't easy. Your old mindset will resist. It will tell you this won't work. It will try to pull you back into old habits. That's why training your mind is a daily practice. You don't do it once and expect lasting change. You do it every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. One of the most powerful ways to condition your mind is by controlling what you focus on. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS, which acts like a filter. Whatever you focus on, your brain starts seeing more of. If you focus on problems, your brain will find more problems. If you focus on opportunities, suddenly they appear everywhere. This isn't magic, it's neuroscience. The world hasn't changed, but your brain has. That's why successful people seem to attract success. It's not luck, it's not that they're special. It's that they've trained their minds to focus on the right things. They see solutions where others see obstacles. They see growth where others see failure. They've conditioned themselves to operate at a higher level. And here's the best part. You can do the same. You can train your mind to be resilient, to be unstoppable, to see opportunities instead of limitations. But it starts with a decision to stop letting your mind control you and start taking control of your mind. That means cutting out the negativity. Stop watching things that drain you. Stop listening to people who tell you what you can't do. Start filling your mind with things that build you up. Books, podcasts, conversations with people who challenge you to grow. Protect your mental environment like your life depends on it, because it does. And then once your mind is strong, watch what happens. Watch how you start showing up differently. Watch how you handle stress with ease. Watch how you push through obstacles that would have stopped you before, because once your mind is trained for success, there is nothing that can stop you. Take massive imperfect action. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more money. I'll take action when I feel ready. I'll go for it when the timing is perfect. But here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There is no magical day when everything lines up and fear disappears. The people who succeed at the highest level aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who move, who take action even when they don't have all the answers, even when they're scared, even when the conditions aren't ideal. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Think about it. Have you ever had a moment where you felt completely stuck? Maybe you had a goal, but you kept overthinking, kept analyzing, kept waiting for the right moment to start. And because you didn't move, nothing changed. But the second you took even the smallest step, everything shifted. Suddenly you weren't thinking about what could go wrong, you were in motion. And once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going. This is where most people go wrong. They think they need motivation first, and then they'll take action. But the truth is, motivation follows action. You don't wait to feel inspired to start. You start, and that action generates inspiration. The hardest part is always the first step. But once you take it, your brain starts to rewire itself. It sees progress, even if it's small, and that progress builds confidence. Think about the most successful people in the world. Entrepreneurs, athletes, leaders. They are not the smartest people, they are not the most talented, but they are relentless in their action. They don't get caught in analysis paralysis. They don't waste months or years waiting to feel ready. They just start. They make mistakes, they fail, they adjust, and they keep moving. That's the real secret to success. It's not about being perfect, it's about being relentless. And yes, you will make mistakes. You will fail. But failure is not the enemy. Failure is feedback. Every mistake you make teaches you something. Every setback sharpens your strategy. But if you never start, if you let fear hold you back, you never even give yourself the chance to grow. Most people are so afraid of failing that they never take the first step. But the only real failure is staying where you are. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a day where all your fears disappear. The only way to get past fear is to move through it. The only way to gain confidence is to take action despite the doubt. Every time you push forward when you don't feel ready, you build resilience. And over time, that resilience turns into unshakable confidence. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail the most because they are taking the most action. They are constantly learning, constantly adjusting, constantly growing. They don't need permission. They don't wait for someone to tell them it's time. They make the time. They create their own momentum. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting. The moment you take action, everything changes. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The only way to break through is to move, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain, even if you have no idea what you're doing yet. Because once you start, you'll figure it out. Action creates clarity. Action creates confidence, and action creates results. Feed your momentum. Momentum is the most powerful force in personal growth. When you have momentum, you feel unstoppable. Everything flows. You take action effortlessly. You see progress every day, and that progress fuels even more action. But when you lose momentum, everything feels like a struggle. Small tasks seem overwhelming. The things you used to do easily now feel impossible. This is why the key to rebuilding yourself in 2025 is learning how to create and sustain momentum. Momentum doesn't happen by accident. It happens through consistency. It happens when you show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It happens when you commit to small daily actions that build over time. Most people think they need to make massive changes overnight, but that's not how real momentum works. It's not about making one big leap. It's about stacking small wins day after day until you create unstoppable forward motion. Think about a rocket taking off. It uses most of its fuel just to break through the initial resistance. But once it's in orbit, it takes far less energy to keep moving. Your personal growth works the same way. The hardest part is the beginning, when you're pushing against years of old habits, self-doubt, and hesitation. But once you break through, once you build even a little momentum, everything gets easier. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Too many people get discouraged because they don't see massive results immediately. They think if they don't transform overnight, they're failing. But real change happens through small, consistent wins. When you celebrate those wins, no matter how small, you reinforce the habit of progress, and that habit compounds over time into massive success. But here's the problem. Most people let momentum die. They start strong, they make progress, and then they slow down. They take their foot off the gas. And once you stop, it's 10 times harder to start again. This is why most people struggle with consistency. They allow themselves to lose momentum. They work hard for a week, then take a few days off. They go to the gym for a month, then stop when they don't see instant results. And then they wonder why they're stuck in the same cycle year after year. The secret to lasting transformation is never letting momentum die. Even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you don't feel like it, you keep going. You keep showing up. Even if all you can do is one small step, you take it. Because movement, no matter how small, is always better than standing still. And here's something most people don't realize. Momentum isn't just about action. It's also about your mental and emotional state. If you wake up every day with low energy, feeling negative, overwhelmed, or uninspired, you won't take action. That's why you have to actively manage your mindset. You have to fuel your body with the right energy, feed your mind with the right thoughts, and surround yourself with people who push you forward. Your environment shapes your momentum. Have you ever noticed how spending time with the right people can completely shift your energy? One conversation with someone who believes in you, challenges you, and pushes you to grow can ignite momentum instantly. But spending time with negative, draining people can kill it just as fast. This is why protecting your energy is crucial. You can't afford to let toxic environments or toxic people slow you down. And it's not just about people, it's about what you consume. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the things you watch, all of it either fuels your momentum or drains it. Every time you fill your mind with negativity, self-doubt, or distractions, you are slowing yourself down. But every time you feed your mind with motivation, strategy, and success-driven thoughts, you are building momentum. Momentum is a choice. It's something you create, something you protect, something you fight for every single day. The moment you stop feeding it, it starts to fade. And the longer you let it fade, the harder it becomes to start again. Small daily actions, constant movement, protecting your energy, these are the things that keep momentum alive. And when you learn to control momentum, you learn to control your growth, because once you're in motion, nothing can stop you. Own your 2025 identity. Everything you do, everything you achieve, and everything you experience is a reflection of the identity you hold for yourself. Most people never realize that their life is shaped not by their external circumstances, but by the internal identity they have accepted as truth. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will always struggle. If you see yourself as someone who never follows through, you will always find ways to quit. But if you see yourself as a leader, as someone who is disciplined, powerful, and capable, your actions will align with that identity. This is why the key to rebuilding yourself in 2025 is not just setting goals, not just working hard, but completely stepping into a new identity, the identity of the person you are meant to become. Most people try to change their habits without changing their identity. They say, I'm going to go to the gym, but deep down they still see themselves as someone who is lazy. They say, I'm going to be successful, but deep down they still believe they are destined to struggle. And because their identity is not shifted, their old patterns always pull them back. True change doesn't come from forcing yourself to act differently. It comes from shifting who you believe you are at the core. Look at the most successful people in any area of life. They don't just practice certain habits, they fully embody the identity of the person they need to be. An elite athlete doesn't just train, they live and breathe the identity of an athlete. A successful entrepreneur doesn't just work hard, they see themselves as someone who is destined to create and lead. This is the difference between people who achieve massive success and those who constantly struggle. One group is trying to change their behavior, while the other has fully reprogrammed their identity. Your identity is like a thermostat. If you set a thermostat to 70 degrees, the room will always return to that temperature no matter what happens. If it gets too hot, the air conditioning will turn on to cool it back down. If it gets too cold, the heater will turn on to warm it back up. Your self-identity works the same way. If you see yourself as someone who is average, you might have moments of success, but your subconscious will always find a way to bring you back down to the level of your identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, no matter how hard you push, you will eventually self-sabotage to return to that familiar identity. The only way to truly transform is to raise your thermostat, to redefine who you are at your core. To own your 2025 identity, you have to get crystal clear on who you need to become. Not what you want to achieve, who you need to be to make those achievements inevitable. If you want to be in the best shape of your life, you don't just set a goal to work out. You decide that you are now the kind of person who prioritizes health, who never misses a workout, who eats like an athlete, who operates with discipline. If you want to build a successful business, you don't just say, I want to make money. You step into the identity of a leader, a problem solver, someone who takes massive action without hesitation. The moment you claim that identity, everything else shifts. Your brain is designed to keep you consistent with your identity. The fastest way to change your behavior is to align it with a new identity. Instead of forcing yourself to wake up early, you decide, I am the kind of person who dominates the morning. Instead of struggling with motivation, you decide, I am the kind of person who takes action no matter what. And the more you reinforce that new identity through action, the more it becomes automatic. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for external validation before they claim a new identity. They wait until they have results to believe they are successful. They wait until they are in shape to believe they are fit. But that's backward thinking. You don't wait for proof. You create it. You don't wait until you have a successful business to see yourself as an entrepreneur. You see yourself as an entrepreneur first, and then you build the business. You don't wait until you're confident to take action. You take action, and that action creates confidence. Rebuilding yourself in 2025 means taking full ownership of your new identity, not just when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable. There will be moments when the old version of you tries to pull you back. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when fear tells you to go back to playing small. This is where most people give up. They let temporary discomfort pull them back to their old patterns. But the people who truly transform are the ones who push through. They remind themselves of their new identity and they act in alignment with it, even when they don't feel like it. Your environment plays a massive role in shaping your identity. If you surround yourself with people who think small, you will think small. If you constantly consume negativity, you will start to see yourself as someone who is stuck. This is why you must protect your environment with everything you have. Surround yourself with people who embody the identity you are stepping into. Immerse yourself in books, content, and conversations that reinforce your new self-image. The more you expose yourself to that new identity, the faster it becomes real. Every single day is an opportunity to reinforce your new identity or fall back into your old one. Every decision you make either strengthens the person you are becoming or reinforces the person you were. When you wake up, do you act like the version of you who is successful, disciplined, and unstoppable? Or do you slip back into old habits? When you face challenges, do you respond like the version of you who is resilient and fearless, or do you react like the old version that let fear dictate their actions? These small choices determine everything. The fastest way to make this shift permanent is to embody your new identity right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, right now. If you were already the version of yourself that has everything you want in life, how would you think? How would you act? How would you make decisions? Start doing that immediately. Live as that person today, and the external results will catch up. Your current reality is nothing more than a reflection of your past identity. The life you have today is a result of who you believed you were yesterday. If you want to change your future, you must change your identity now. The moment you own that identity, the moment you stop negotiating with your old self, the moment you fully commit to operating at a higher level, everything shifts. This is it. The moment everything changes. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because transformation doesn't happen when you feel ready. It happens the moment you decide that enough is enough. The moment you refuse to let another year slip away. The moment you claim your power and step fully into the life you were meant to live. You know what to do. You know the habits, the mindset, the action steps. Now it's time to execute. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more letting fear control you. 2025 is your year to rebuild, to rise, and to take control of your destiny. And if you're ready to make this the year you finally break through, then hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs it, and commit right now to becoming the most powerful version of yourself. This is Tony Robbins' track, and I'll see you at the top.